Do you currently trade news? If you're like most traders, it's something that you were taught to stay away from and avoid. But the news can be something that is extremely powerful for all traders. It can help you anticipate when the moves are going to happen in the market and give you a really accurate directional bias. So we're going to go over what just took place for the CPI red folder news event and show you how you can take advantage of this event that just occurred. Let's hit it. So in front of you right now, we can see we have Forex Factory open, and this is the source that I use to find out all of the different events that are taking place on a week-to-week basis. So this is currently Thursday, October 13th, and as you can see, we just had at 8:30 a.m., we had the CPI red folder news events. Now, this is a very volatile news event, just like FOMC and NFP, but you can use the timing of these red folder events to anticipate when the moves are going to happen in the market. So we saw a lot of consolidation with a lot of pairs this week, and then coming into Thursday and Friday, we can see a lot of red folder. We can see more core retail sales, and then we have some other US prelim consumer sentiment reports here, all on the ending of the week. So that is typically a good indication of when you can anticipate strong moves to happen in the market. And we can hit the charts and identify key things that can really help us take advantage of these news events. So here, I'm going to open up Euro USD. We're going to start here on a daily time frame. We're gonna just do a quick top down, get our directional bias, and then we're gonna jump into the 1 hour time frame and look at the price action that really gave away what was gonna happen with the CPI event today. So looking at Euro USD daily chart, we can see an obvious bearish trend here. Now, this price action right here is very important because we need to identify the most recent swings and we need to figure out what price is doing now. So we can see we had this swing high to this swing low, which indicates a lower low, and now this price action here was our retracement, and this is offering a continuation, making this low here our primary target. So really quickly, we can see here is our low, a little bit of a double bottom here. We can see a nice sweep of highs right here, which was also a break retest level right here. So we can see this is what's going to entice or induce traders to come to the market too early. And we can see a support level here, another double bottom, looks like it's coming up, and it was just sweeping liquidity before making its run to the downside. So here is our swing high. Here is our daily swing low. We know we're bearish. We can see price pulled all the way back up into our, just right on our 71, coming into our kill zone. And this was also a weekly candle. If we pop up a time frame, and we can see price has started to break down. So now we're going to take a look at the 1 hour, and we're going to look inside that price action that was showing price breaking down in the higher time frame continuation. So here, just for reference, was that double bottom that I referenced. Here is that weekly daily low. This is our target here. And this brings us into the price action here. So I'm gonna flick this on, and now you can see this is how the week started. These yellow lines indicate a week-to-week basis. So this was last week's price action. This was when price pulled up in that 71 and then started breaking down, showing some bearish price action here, some bearish structure. And then we got into this week. And when we open this week, we can see price just started moving sideways. So the first thing that we really want to do is look to see if highs or lows were captured, and then look to see which weren't. So in this situation here, we can see price moving sideways, and we can identify the highs and we can identify the lows. Then we saw the second day of the week, we saw price aggressively push up and run these highs, and then we can see an immediate reaction to the downside. So that is some really key information that we can use to our benefit. So now we know the top side was captured and the bottom side is still free game. So this makes a big target for us in alignment with that big higher time frame swing low down here. Now this is really where it gets important, because after we had that price push down, look what took place after. Price just moving sideways. And when we can see a sideways moving market, a ranging moving market, this is really important because this is formulating a lot of opinions. This is bringing in sellers and buyers, and this is just building a lot of liquidity. So we can see this made a double bottom here with these lows here. This is a nice little support. This is where traders will look to buy potentially. And we can see this whole area here, just price moving sideways. And this is what's building liquidity. And keep in mind, this is leading up to that news event at 8:30 a.m. today. So we know that when price is just moving sideways, it's setting up for these big moves, these continuation moves, and we can align this price action with the dates and times of those events to anticipate when price is going to make its move. So if we factor in everything that we talked about, we know price right now is higher time frame bearish. We know that we made our pullback. Looking here, we made our pullback and that price is starting to break down. So we have the bearish structure. We know that just recently this week, price was moving sideways and we aggressively ran up. We took the highs, so we know the lows are available. So when we see price do that and then move sideways, we're anticipating the same thing. We would look for price to push up and take the highs of this ranging market right here, price just moving sideways, but respect this high here. So I'm going to draw a line right here. That is a 1 hour manipulation candle here. And then we can see we have our high right here. So we can see price moving sideways here. So with this news event, we would look for this to continue, because we're not looking for the news event to take place and give us a direction. We're using this information to determine where price will go with the news event. It's already predetermined. This news event, these red folder events like CPI, it's almost like throwing gas on a already lit fire. And this is the fire that's lit. So we're looking for price to run and take these highs right here and do something like this with the event. Start pushing up and respect this price action that ran the highs, and then come down and target the lows. So that is what we're looking for. And then again, when we know this is happening on Thursday, we can sit back and let things develop and wait for what takes place prior to the event and start looking at all these confirmations that we're looking at. The structure on higher and lower, is it aligned? Do we have targets? Were the highs taken? And now we can see we have clear targets on the lows as they were not swept yet. So this is what we're gonna be looking for. When price pulls up into this area here, and you can also throw the fibs on these swings to get a more accurate representation of your kill zone. So this would be our kill zone here, our 71 to the 886 kill zone. I'll take those fibs off, marking up the 1 hour candle, and then we would look for price to come down and take these lows in this area here. And you can also use your fib extension levels as well to kind of give you a better gauge of where price can go. So we'll just use the first fib level down here after sweeping these lows. That is going to give you roughly a 1 to 5 risk to reward. So this is when the news event is happening. I'm going to draw a quick vertical line. We can see right here. Let's go down to 30 minutes so I can get to where we need to put this. There's 8:30 right there. So that is 8:30 on Thursday, 8:30 a.m. Eastern, and that is when we would anticipate this to happen. So I'm gonna press play here and we're gonna walk through this price action. And even still, even if you didn't have this set up here, even if we didn't already see price sweep up and take the highs and then start to range, if price was just ranging and leading up to a news event, that means there's a really good chance that manipulation is going to happen. Meaning, like if, for example, I'll draw it out. If we see price just moving sideways and highs and lows haven't been taken, like we saw here, highs were taken, and then we know, okay, when we get to this point here, there's a red folder event that can have a big impact, we would anticipate price to then do something like that and sweep both sides of this ranging market, which would then give you the setup. But since in this situation, we already have the highs have already been swept with this price action here, and then started ranging here, these highs here would be the catalyst where the buildup of liquidity is, respecting this previous run on highs, and then we can use that information to guide us to this move here. So that's what we would be looking at based on this information, and how you can really take a news event and be able to capitalize on it, or just sit on your hands and wait for whatever needs to happen. So I'm going to press play here and we're going to walk through what takes place. So now this green background, that indicates London session. So we can see price has started to push up, and we can see price just ran these highs here, which is also a good indication because it's doing the same thing as what took place here. We saw price run the highs and leave the lows. So now it's doing the same thing. It's running the highs first, leaving the lows, and we would anticipate to respect this area, and then with that news event, break down and attack those lows as they've been safe. So now we're approaching the time of the news event, and we can see price right there spiked up into the kill zone, into that 1 hour, and now we're right into that time where that news event's gonna hit, and that's where we would anticipate a strong move to the downside, attacking the lows. So there's the move, right? This is how calculated this stuff is, right? Understanding highs were captured, lows were sitting ducks, and that there was a buildup of liquidity with this range right here. As we saw previously, this ran the highs, just giving you a step-by-step list of confirmations that you can go through. And then look, it continues with the overall trend. And then also too, coming back to what I previously said, let's just say that this wasn't here and we just had price action moving sideways. We can then wait for the news event to give you something like this, because that's gonna then give you a new opportunity, as this is a new signature pattern. This is a new manipulation candle, and we know that because look at the reaction here. It ran these highs and then showed a strong move down, and then we would look for this to be a new entry. So it's either this has already taken place and we can use this information for a setup aligned with our higher time frame structure, directional bias, or wait for this to happen and then you will have a new opportunity. So anytime you see a ranging market leading up to a news event and highs or lows haven't been taken, you can sit on your hands and wait for it to happen, because then it's going to give you that setup, or take advantage of it if it's present. So hopefully you found value in this, and that you should start back testing this on a demo account just to see how this works. Get comfortable doing it, and don't be afraid to trade the news. And then you can also use it in a number of ways to your benefit, as we just went over here. So hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.